Hello and good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. We've recorded this to make this more convenient for you all so that you can make sure and get one of the most important visits in our office in your hands, even if you're not able to be here in person. So I'm Dr. Jeremy Meadows, and I'm a health and wellness expert. So thank you for being here today. Now, I'm curious though, how many of you are here today because of a neighbor, a friend, or a loved one told you to come in? Or how many of you are here because we met you in the community, one of me or one of our great team members? Now, I'd like to start with thanking you all for being here. I can always tell who's really serious about their care because they're the ones who show up and they want to improve their health as quickly as possible. So I want to applaud you for taking this action step toward improved health. In the next 30 minutes, you're going to discover the most effective way, the most powerful way, and the most natural way to be healthy. Now, once you discover what the information that I'm going to share with you today can do for you, you can have more energy, reduce sickness, be pain-free, and can be drastically reduce the chances of needing surgery or being impacted by diseases like cancer, heart disease, or diabetes. The diseases that are robbing people, your family and friends of life and leading to early death of 5 out of 6 Americans today. So instead, you can once and for all maximize your health potential. Now, I know you guys are all sitting at home, but by a show of hands, how many people want that? Okay, I saw you. You've made a commitment by being here today, and I really appreciate that. But I want to get you to get as much out of this as possible, and so I'm going to ask you to be involved. Today, I'm not necessarily looking to make a 180-degree shift in your mindset, but I do hopefully give you some things to think about and maybe pivot exactly where your life or where your health is going. Can I get your buy-in on that? Go ahead and raise your hand with that. Now, I'm not going to ask you to think like me, but I'm going to ask you to think a little bit. So let's get started. We talk about being hardwired for health. So how to look good, how to feel great, and how to function better. So let's start out with where it all starts. A couple of questions. I want to feel you guys out and really understand what's going on. I'm curious. Do you think we live in a healthy country or a sick country? So are we as Americans healthy or sick? Now, before you answer that question, let's look at some health statistics and information. So let's take a look. So which country spends the most on healthcare? Let's take a look. The brutal fact is the United States is experiencing a $2 trillion a year healthcare system crisis. Now, most of these problems that people come in with are chronic issues, and these are largely preventable diseases, and we're going to talk about how stress can have an effect on these. Literally double the amount that's spent by the number 2 country on the list. Now, this was in 2008, so we're spending $3 trillion in 2012, estimated to be $5 trillion by 2022. Now, which country takes the most medication? You guessed it. We take over 45% of the world's prescription drugs, yet we represent less than 5% of the world's population. So, in this country alone, we consume over 45% of the world's drugs, but we are, once again, less than 5% of the world's population. Where does the US fall on the list of healthiest nations? So, when the world's top 40 developed countries are rated according to the healthiest nations, where do you think the US falls? What do you think? Number 1 being the healthiest, number 40 being the sickest. With all of that funding, all those resources, all the research, the technology, the testing, the treatments, the drugs, the money, where do you think we fall on the list of healthiest nations? First, 10th? Would you be disappointed if we were at 20th? Mad at 30th? Well, what do you guys think? We're anywhere between 38 and 40 in the country. So a brutal fact. Now, the current model, we can probably agree, is failing. The rates of all these diseases, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, all continue to increase each and every year. The brutal facts, people have never been sicker. So I'm going to ask you again, with all the information that we just went over, do you think we live in a sick or a healthy country? You know, 95% of people that I talk with and that we present this to say we live in a sick country, and I would agree. People have literally never been sicker. For the first time in the history of man, children born after the year 2000 are not expected to live as long as their parents. This is from the CDC in 2009. So think about that for a minute. Let it soak in. That concerns me for sure because my kids were born in 2006 and in 2008. So my goal is to help that statistic not be part of their future. Now, are you as healthy as you want to be? How about your family, your children? As a doctor, in my experience, the answer is an overwhelming no. So why do you think we're in a health crisis? What I've seen, there's 3 reasons we're in a health crisis. Would you like to know what they are? I'm sure you would. So let's talk about this. Number 1 is personal responsibility. The first reason is that people do not take responsibility for their own health. Who is in charge of your health? Your spouse, your doctor, the system, your insurance company? Ultimately, who is responsible for your health? You're right, you, right? That's that personal responsibility. Number 2, and the second, is that we have a wrong definition of health. I'm healthy if what? If I look good, if I feel good, so I must be healthy. I must be free of disease. So let me tell you what does cancer actually feel like? What does heart disease feel like? What does diabetes feel like? Let me ask you, by the time you feel any of these, are you in trouble? Or are you in deep trouble? So you may be wondering what the definition of health is. Health is optimal physical, social, and mental well-being, not merely the absence of disease or infirmity or sickness. So health is about how you feel, health is about how you function, and it's about how you express. So if we want to be healthy, we have to be functioning optimally. And number 3, this is the third reason we're in a health crisis. Does anyone know what the third reason is? Well, I'll tell you that later in the end. I'll come back to that, but please don't let me forget. So here's what I know, and finishing the statement with me. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you will keep getting what you've been getting. If you're like most of the patients that I met, and then you are not satisfied with the results that you've been getting with what you've been doing and don't want to keep going down that same road, well, then you're ready for a different approach, a better way. So let me share with you what I've learned over the last 15 to 20 years and thousands of patients. I call it the 10 questions that you must ask if you want to be healthy. So question number 1 is, are you designed to be healthy? Health is normal. Healthy is natural. Unhealthy is abnormal. Our bodies default to being healthy. 3,000 generations came before us to prove it. 99.6% of people possess the genes to express perfect health at all times. So healthy is normal, but unhealthy is the norm that we have created through the way that we live. Number 2, is your body smart or is it stupid? Your body's super smart, right? Your body's brilliant. At the moment of conception, right, you receive all the genetic information you need to function and regenerate. After conception, there's 270 days-ish, and then you're a full human being. The baby's body knows innately what's supposed to develop when and how it's supposed to develop. There's literally an inborn or an innate intelligence that runs your body. This innate intelligence works with your nervous system to keep you healthy and heal your body. So since your body innately knows how to heal itself, that shows us that health comes from the inside out, not the outside in. So let's look at a complete way how your innate intelligence in your bodies works to keep us healthy. Now, let's think about this. Fever. Why do you get a fever? That's right, to kill the virus and the bacteria because your body knows to. Is that smart or is that stupid? That is intelligence. Eat bad seafood and you're vomiting. Is that smart or stupid? Right? We want to expel that when we get food poisoning. So food poisoning, is it a good thing or a bad thing? It's kind of a trick question, right? It's definitely a good thing because it helps get rid of what is going to make us not feel well and be sick. Question number 3, what's the most important system in your body for staying healthy? Come on, you guys know this one. That's right, it's your nervous system. It is your master system. The nervous system is the master system. The innate intelligence travels across the nervous system. The nervous system is the communication system for all the body. It's the system that helps us adapt to and deal with stress. The flow of that intelligence or information across the nerves is what keeps us healthy and helps us heal. All the tissues, all the organs systems rely on this nerve supply to help us get well and stay well. So let's start at the start. Your nervous system. Your nervous system, as you know it, is exactly that master system. It means it runs everything. The brain is in constant communication with all parts of your body. That information goes out to your body, and then your body sends the information back. It's that exchange, that two-way communication that helps your body be healthy and function the way that it's supposed to. All of this information courses through the nervous system. I call the brain, it's your master control center. I call your spinal cord, it's kind of like the freeway of life. So what protects your nervous system? That's right, you got it. Your spine is your lifeline. Your spine protects your nervous system. Like the skull protects your brain and your spinal cord are one continuous system, right? Just like Homer, he might have a little less in there, but he still has protection. Your skull is your helmet that protects your brain and your spine. Your spine is your suit of armor that protects your spinal cord. If you want to be healthy, you must have a healthy functioning nervous system. And if you want a healthy functioning nervous system, you must have a healthy spine. Let's ask this. Is your life stressful? Right? Raise your hand. I can't see you. You can admit it. That's right. Life is stressful. Life is more stressful every year. Raise your hand, right? If you think that stress can be negative for your body. So if we can help you deal with stress better and reduce overall stress, do you think that it would be a good thing for your body? I think so, right? Well, let's talk about that stress. There's three types of stress. There's mental or social stress, psychological, and emotional stress, right? So this is also, we call these the 3 T's, thoughts, traumas, and toxins, right? Or in this order, thoughts, toxins, and traumas. So we also have chemical stress. This is your diet style. These are the things that you eat and you drink. These are the drugs and lifestyle choices and the things you can't avoid, the pollution and environmental toxins. Then we have physical stresses. These are the things that you all think about, the macro traumas as well as the micro traumas. Macro traumas are what you think everybody goes to the chiropractor for. When you get into a car accident, slip and fall, you have a sports injury, those things are obviously going to cause your spine to move out of alignment. But sometimes we don't think about the micro habits, right? Or the bad habits that build up over time. This could be the way that you sit at your desk and work on your computer. This could be the way that we lean in to our iPad or to our phone or to any tablet, right? These are the bad habits. Could be the way that we sleep, the way that we drive, the way that we stand with one side on your hip all the time. Could be many different things with that, right? So the 3 types of stress, these are what they cause. Those macro stresses like we just talked about, car accidents, sports injuries, slips and falls. So I sometimes say there's 4 T's, thoughts, traumas, toxins, and tech. But tech is really one of those micro traumas. So sitting through new smoking, our lifestyle stress, our toxic deficient lifestyle choices, bad habits cause and promote subluxation patterns. What do we do to our spine all day? First, lay in bed in the morning, probably lying on our stomach so you turn your head so you can breathe. That in turn pulls the curve out of your spine. Or you lay on your back and you push it up with pillows, right? Then you sit up, you go downstairs, you read over breakfast, brush your teeth, go in the car, drive to work, sit at your computer all day long, bang your head against the computer, and then back in the car, sit on the couch, watch TV, or sit at a computer. And we wonder why everyone's having such a hard time. It looks like nothing in the spine is supposed to look like. We're always getting drawn forward, right? So we want to understand what that does. So I'm going to review stress and how it affects the body, right? We want to go over the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system has 2 parts of it. We have the rest and repair, or the parasympathetic, or the sympathetic. This is the fight, flight, or freeze, right? So these are things that can have a major effect on how your health is. If you look at the stress response, and stress response is when you you get that stress, right? Like a bear comes up to get you, or somebody cuts you off when you're driving down the 405. We get that adrenaline rush, right? So the stress response is that adrenaline rush. It's when cortisol gets released into our system. This is the cascade that it causes. Increased blood pressure, increased heart rate, increased muscle tone, digestive upset, decreased serotonin, sensory systems up, fear and anxiety are up, immune response is down, insulin sensitivity changes, blood sugars go up, because why? We want to have that natural energy from the sugar, right? We have decrease in DHDL, increase in LDL, clotting factors go up, and sex drive goes down, right? So we start to see many of these chronic illnesses that are coming up really just because we're in stress. Because let me ask you a question, is stress a good thing or a bad thing? This is a trick question. I know you guys all said a bad thing, but actually stress is what got us here. It's what kept us alive. It's what helps us get things done. But stress is meant to happen in an acute period of time, so a short period of time. It's not meant to be there chronically, day after day. Our boss isn't supposed to cause us stress. Getting in the car is not supposed to cause us stress. But many of us get locked up into this, right? And that's where we start to see these perceived stresses. Our body starts to act as though it really is under this stress, the fear, the anxiety, and we wonder why it sets us up for diabetes, heart disease, heart attack, chronic anxiety, those kind of things. So let's move on from that. So what is all this stress doing to the body? Well, we just talked about it, right? It causes problems. It causes a condition known as a spinal subluxation, right? We have joint misalignment, we have soft tissue damage, we have inflammation, nerve irritation, then the muscle spasm, we get joint fixation, and then it just keeps repeating this stress response. That stress response is a major issue. What happens is when a joint is out of its natural healthy alignment by trauma, by bad habits, it creates damage to the soft tissues, leading to that inflammation. Swelling in the inflammation causes nerve root irritation. This nerve irritation is called subluxation. Subluxations cause a breakdown in the communication in the nervous system, and this causes more inflammation, irritation, and more stress, which will cause a downward spiral. So your body's smart and it reacts to this, but it starts to set us up for not functioning the right way. Number 7, what's the real cause of health problems? You're right, it's stress that causes these subluxations. Subluxation causes health problems. Remember, information flowing across the nerves is what keeps organs working properly, like wires in a home. Nerves go to specific organs and have specific functions. Any nerve interference creates dysfunction to wherever that nerve goes to. In other words, the organ or the system does not work at its optimum. This subluxation and subluxations are very often the cause of disease and can rob you of health and life. Subluxations typically start silently, meaning you don't have symptoms, and then eventually show signs and symptoms. Symptoms tend to be the very last thing to come on, the first thing to go away. So you may have already guessed this because you may have come in with this. Subluxations can be the root cause of back pain, neck pain, or headaches. But what you probably don't know is that subluxations can cause digestive issues like reflux or heartburn, food intolerances, constipation, blood pressure issues, breathing conditions like asthma, or immune system disorders like allergies or eczema or other skin conditions. Subluxations can often present as stiffness and soreness in joints, muscles, but even more commonly, they can present as energy issues, sleep problems, or anxiety. Think about it. Who do you know that suffers from these different issues or these different conditions? Now, we are not curing these conditions. We're helping the body to function normally so your body can do what it's supposed to and heal correctly, right? Your body's trying to tell you something. Treat symptoms like taking the batteries out of your smoke alarm. Then when it goes off in the middle of the night, it's probably not a good idea. It's probably better for the safety of you and your family that you actually put new batteries in that and actually listen to and address what the problems are, right? Number 8, how is your nerve system functioning? Well, that's what we specialize in, right? That's why you're here, because you have to be checked. How do you know if you have a subluxation? How about another question? How do you know if you have high cholesterol? What does high cholesterol feel like? What you have to do is you have to get it checked, right? What about high blood sugar? What does that feel like? We don't know, right? We have to get it checked, right? Same with subluxation. How do you know if you have a subluxation? You have to be checked for it, right? You shouldn't wait until pain or symptoms develop to know whether or not you have subluxations. Only chiropractors are trained to correct subluxations. There are unique tests that we're trained to do to identify subluxations. There are specific tests that can be done to detect early signs of subluxation, and that's why it's so important. We check the movement of the spine. We check to see if there's heat coming off the spine. We check posture. We take x-rays. We get a chance to see how your spine's actually functioning. Number 9, what should you do to correct the problems with your nervous system, right? We have to take action, right? Chiropractors have this unique expertise. We're specialists in finding and correcting subluxations. We specialize in correcting these issues so that the spine can heal and stay healthy, as well as the nervous system, which is the master system, can work properly as a result to heal the body. So patients can get rid of their pain, correct their health issues, and get back to doing the things they want to without dangerous drugs or surgery. Now, everyone who has a spine is susceptible. We want whole families to be checked so that we can understand where the problems begin. Oftentimes this starts with kids. The sooner you get checked, the better, right? So what we look at is the three-legged stool. We try and teach our patients how to deal with this. We teach this three-legged stool. The key to getting better results faster is by realizing that we cannot do this for you if you're not here. This is a partnership. We're a team. In order to get the best results, we're going to have you get engaged in this simple three-legged stool formula. Let me illustrate what using the three-legged stool formula can do for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to get adjustments. We're going to get those adjustments in a natural rhythm so we can start to unwind some of the stress that maybe started when you were young or maybe started yesterday. We're going to teach you how to get rid of some of those bad habits, those micro traumas. And then we're going to start giving you corrective exercises and traction to help get your body back in the game. Number 10, we can be our best or our worst enemies. We put problems off or cover things up. I can see this is not on the screen properly. So this leads to the third reason why we start to have breakdown, right? And this is procrastination. The 5 most dangerous words in healthcare are you ready? Maybe it will go away. How many people have tried to ignore their way out of a problem in the past? Issues only become more complex and more difficult and expensive to solve, right? That's what we want to pay attention to. So the number 3 is procrastination. Get things taken care of now. Now I'm going to talk about a quick success story. Chanel, we loved Chanel. Unfortunately, she moved to Ireland and I'm sure is having a fantastic time there. But Chanel was in her late 20s. She came to see us. She was having a hard time sleeping. She could only lay on her side in her fetal position. She had pain when she was sitting. She was having decreased energy at work, increased pain at work. She worked at a bank. She came in with 6 out of 10 pain. Now the cool thing is, she'd had this for 2 years. That's not the cool thing. But the cool thing is that this went away super quickly. She was feeling better within 3 to 4 weeks, and she'd been dealing with it for 2 years, and she didn't need to be. But she went on to not only get rid of the pain, but she went on to correct the underlying structure of what was going on in her spine. You can see the picture on your left. This is when she first came in. The curve's going the wrong way. The green line's what's normal, the red line is where she was. So after 5 months of intensive care, she got back to normal. This is kind of like braces on your teeth, right? This is what we're going to be starting to do. We're going to change the spine so not only do you feel better today, but it lasts for a lifetime. So we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this and understand what's going on. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask one of the doctors. Make sure to get your questions answered so that we can help you have the best experience possible in our office. Thanks again for watching, and remember, we are here to energize your life.